Thank you for joining us here in Retiring Well. As members of our Northern Michigan community here, we're going to start off the show talking about asking for advice. When should you seek advice, and what are some of those hurdles to overcoming some of that advice? Jack and Joe then join us in talking about how feedback is a gift, not only with what you're doing, but then providing that feedback for somebody as well, and how that can relate to your retirement planning. Then Virgil is going to talk about 3 reasons why you should consider coming to one of our live events that we do. We host educational live events all across Northern Michigan, and interesting enough, maybe some of these might be fitting for some of the topics that you're most concerned about. And to wrap up the show, Nick is going to talk about who is your beneficiary. Have you properly laid out your beneficiary designations? And what if you fail to name one? All this and so much more coming up right here, right now on Retiring Well.
Retiring Well, brought to you by Centennial Wealth Advisory, financial advisors specializing in retirement planning and serving all of Northern Michigan. Retiring Well, helping you plan for a successful and comfortable retirement. Retiring Well, plan to retire well.
Are you in a position where you're looking for some type of financial advice, but you're not sure who to talk to? We've come across lately some folks that we were meeting with, and they said, well, we've tried calling a few different places here in town, and they always asked what was the amount of money that they had saved, and then they basically wouldn't talk with them. And that's concerning for us as at Centennial Wealth Advisory. We want to make the opportunity available for people that are planning for retirement, at least the opportunity to have a conversation to see sort of what direction you're on, and ultimately see if there's ways that we could help.
Yeah, absolutely, John. You and I grew up here in Northern Michigan, born and raised here in Traverse City, and we want to be partners in our community. We understand that some folks are just getting started in retirement, and some folks have saved a great deal of assets and are doing a fantastic job. But everybody deserves advice and be able to help through that. Now, obviously, you have to have some assets to be able to invest, because that's how investing works, right? But when it comes to that, when somebody's seeking out advice and wanting some help with that, we look forward to opportunities to sit down with people, whether they're early in those stages of their retirement, and they're in their 30s or their 40s, and they maybe have an old 401k plan, or they're really starting to get interesting about that. And it's fun to sit down and map those out with those people and walk side by side and see, well, what if we do this and what do we do that? And then at the same time, it's great sitting down with those folks who are right in retirement or early in, and they've done a great job saving, and everybody in between. But I get frustrated when I hear out these of, you got to have $500,000 to talk to us, or this or that. And, especially just to be good community partners out there and helping individuals across the board to be able to, realize these dreams of retirement.
Yeah, and that's where on our YouTube channel, we've got a slew of videos available. So YouTube/Retiring Well, you can go out and educate yourself on a variety of topics. So when you're questioning, hey, what's a Roth IRA, or should I have a Roth IRA, those types of things that seem to be common questions, there's a bunch of videos that we've put together to help educate you and help you on that path. But it's one where a lot of times the tax planning piece, I think, is where not only are people not really giving advice, or sometimes when they are getting advice, it may not be the best advice. And so those are areas where it is valuable to sit down, talk with an advisor that's able to discuss tax planning. Some of the financial advisors, they're not allowed to talk about taxes based on the big corporation that they work for. So those are things that you want to be taken into consideration when you're maybe interviewing advisors to try and learn more about whether or not they'd be the right fit for you.
Absolutely. It makes me think, John, you mentioned taxes and stuff like that. I met with a couple here recently. They're business owners here in Traverse City, and they've built a great small business for themselves and their team. And these two individuals here in their basically early 40s had never started saving for retirement yet. They've been growing and putting money back into their business. And they finally were at a point where they were cash flowing very well. Things were taking off. And they're like, we want to start looking into this, but we don't even have any clue where to start. They knew there was all these accounts available, pre-tax, after-tax, simple SEPs, 401ks, and they just wanted to sit down and learn about what that is. But again, they didn't have assets already. They had stuff ready to go in it, but they hadn't got a savings. So they were having a hard time finding companies to sit down and talk with them about that. So we sat down, started mapping things out with them, and really developed a retirement plan for them. They had a goal of retiring in 20 years. So what does that look like with the business they have, with the income they have, and getting stuff set up? Well, then we started working and learning they had employees they wanted to help with, and with simple IRAs and stuff like that. So it was just a really neat transition to go from this point with, seeing how hard they've worked over the years to build this business to now they're really building their dream of retirement.
Yeah, and one of the things that I found key there is being able to build a plan. Like a lot of times we hear from folks, well, I've got certain bank accounts and the bank said I should do this CD or whatever it might be, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're mapping out that long-term retirement plan for you. And so that's where we have the tools available to start plugging in a lot of that information and starting to map out that goal of, hey, you want to retire in 20 years, here's what you need to do to accomplish that. Here's how much you need to be saving, and on top of that, here's how you should be saving from a tax perspective so that 20 plus years from now, all of a sudden you're not hit with a major tax implication. So if you're in a position where you're not quite sure what direction you're going, but you know that you want or need advice, we encourage you to give us a call. We'd love the opportunity to sit down with you for a no cost, no obligation, and help you build a plan to retire well.
After more than a decade of stock market growth, volatility jolted investors back to the harsh reality of occasional market pullbacks in the investing cycle. Download our free white paper, Navigating Market Volatility. It's all about perspective, for an in-depth analysis of historic lessons and time-tested investment strategies. Simply go to sen-wealth.com, scroll down and click the link Navigating Market Volatility. It's all about perspective, to receive your free copy of this valuable and informative resource. What is your plan to not run out of money? Is your SAFE portfolio actually safe? Are you prepared for the fundamental transition to retirement? What are the benefits of tax loss harvesting? Do you have a local financial planning team? You have questions? We've got answers. We are Centennial Wealth Advisory, financial professionals, specializing in retirement planning and serving all of Northern Michigan, with offices in Traverse City, Gaylord, Petoskey, Cadillac, and Manistee. If you are retired or nearing retirement, we invite you to an informative live event to help you plan to retire well. There is no cost and no obligation, and dinner is on us. Call 888-608-5825 or register online and choose the date and location that works best for you. Tuesday, July 15th at Lakeside Charlie's in Cadillac. Tuesday, July 15th at the Stafford's Perry Hotel in Petoskey. Wednesday, July 16th at Treetops Hunter's Grill in Gaylord. Tuesday, July 22nd at the Blue Pelican in Central Lake. Or Thursday, July 24th at Bluefish Kitchen and Bar in Manistee. The live event starts at 6:30 p.m. and is free to attend, with a complimentary gourmet dinner to follow. But seating is limited and tends to fill quickly. Call 888-608-5825 or register online to reserve your seats today. Don't miss this important live event to help you plan to retire well.
Hey, welcome to this segment with Joe and I here at Centennial Wealth Advisory. We're going to be talking about how feedback is a gift. I ran across that sentence recently at an advisor training that we were doing, where they just get advisors together and they just talk with each other. And they said that line, feedback is a gift. And it just stuck with me because I thought, that's what we get to do all the time. We're giving you feedback on the TV show. We're giving you feedback when you come into our offices, whether you're a new client, existing client, we're constantly giving feedback. And it made me think about what the experience for people that are, at home watching this, what they might be experiencing when they enter into a financial advisory firm. Okay. So there's a spectrum, basically, when you talk to somebody that might help you financially. There's I think the worst part of the spectrum is when you get sold something. Okay, the only thing that they want to do, they might just have an insurance license and just say, their only goal is to sell you. Okay, and they just want to sell you something and then say, basically, lose my number, right? That's the worst part of the spectrum. Then the next middle part of the spectrum might be maybe they have some good solutions and there's a little bit of planning. Okay, that's good, right? We're moving in the right direction. But I think the best impact and the most kind of gift that you can get from feedback is when you get to that coaching role, right? When we're in a position to where we have such a good holistic plan and understanding of who you are, what you have, what you've experienced, and what you're trying to accomplish. Now it becomes this coaching role. That's where you get the best kind of feedback, and that's where it's the best gift. So have you had any clients recently that might have come in very worried about anything, and you're like, hey, guess what? I'm going to give them a gift of feedback?
Sure, absolutely. I mean, like Jack said, we're fortunately in this role where we can look at this a lot and be proactive with clients. But I think of a couple, individuals coming in from the TV show and new clients who started working this year that came in were very aggressive portfolios, all in their 401k, that pretty much 100% equities. Haven't really started to think about, I'm retiring in the next 6 months or next year. I'm going to need to start pulling income from that portfolio. Sort of the feedback we started to give them was, you're taking a lot of risk with the investments, but also you're taking a lot of risk with complacency. Is you're relying on the market to do what it did in 2023 and 2024. And so far we've seen in 2025 is kind of a different story. So one of the things we need to start thinking about in the feedback that we provided was we have to align these investments with when we're going to need them. And we may want to start to take some of that growth you've had the last few years and put it in cash positions or bond positions just to protect that income that you're going to need the next couple of years to bridge that gap until Social Security or their pension income kicks in.
Yeah, some of the other fun challenges that we get is we'll have a first meeting and people will come in and we don't know them, they don't really know us, and they'll just say the one question, hey, we're really worried about and we want to know, can we retire? And so I know when you get those challenges, it becomes like, well, I don't know. I don't know. We need to ask a lot of questions. And once we get a lot of questions answered as far as like where they're at, what they're doing, and what they're trying to accomplish, now we have different tools that we can use. We can do a deep dive, on all 5 pillars of sound financial advice. That coaching piece I was talking about, your income plan, your investment risk plan, your tax plan, healthcare plan, estate plan. When you go through those 5 pillars and run that analysis, and then you see what they have, a lot of times it becomes an adventure for us because our feedback can't always be given immediately. We have some gut reactions, but there's some cases that are really complex. And those are the fun cases where we have to go through, look at it from a lot of different angles. And then afterwards, we get to say, hey, here's our feedback. Here's why you can retire. Here are ideas on how you can retire now. And I know, recently I just helped a client really understand, married couple out of Manistee, how they can retire. And he goes, well, you know what? I don't know if I really want to retire right now, but the fact that I understand how I can retire was the biggest gift that I think he's ever seen, from that kind of feedback standpoint, that coaching standpoint. So it's really powerful.
Yeah, absolutely. I know I'm notorious for when I start working with a new client, I'll build out probably 5 different retirement scenarios just so that whatever your concern is, we have a plan around it. And then I run these Morningstar analysis that sometimes are 160 pages on your investments, which
true.
People laugh at me. It is true.
I do too.
But we can get feedback from the point of we have the data to back it up. We're not just saying, okay, you're going to be fine. It's okay. Well, here's all these what if scenarios. Here's all these worst case investment scenarios. Let's put these things together to protect you.
Yeah. And that's what's really fun about our jobs. We get to coach, at the end of the day. We get to teach, we get to educate, and we do it in a very pure-hearted standpoint where, for the last over a decade, we get to come in and teach on this show and hopefully give you little nuggets, little one-liners that are helpful in your life and enrich you. So thank you so much for watching. We appreciate you. I hope that this feedback was a gift.
You made it. Years of hard work, investing, planning, and now you're here. The long-awaited reward you spent a lifetime looking forward to. But what now? After years of growing a nest egg, now you may want to manage it. Use it to fund your dreams. Make it last as long as you need it. And leave some for those you love. So what do? Wall Street continues to be uncertain, and some conservative options have dropped through the floor. How do you maintain opportunities for growth and reduce risk of loss from market changes? That's where we come in. We are financial professionals. From investments and insurance products to tax reduction strategies and guaranteed retirement income you cannot outlive, provided by the claims-paying ability of insurance companies. You've worked a lifetime to get here. Let us help you enjoy it to the fullest. For a complimentary consultation, simply contact us today.
Living life isn't always easy. It puts up challenges and obstacles you'll have to overcome. There are responsibilities. You put in effort to provide and take care of your family, to save and invest, to balance work and life. Planning is the first step to succeeding. Plan to retire well.
Today I'm going to share 3 reasons why you should attend a live event. Number 1, your current and future financial well-being is too important to miss our live event. You've seen our TV show on TV now for right at 15 years. This is an opportunity for you to come and see us in person and hear a message that could change your potential financial present, but also future. And that may sound like a big statement, so allow me to provide some context. Our approach is different in what we do in helping our clients through their pre-retirement, but also post-working years in their retirement life. We look at a lot of different things other than a simple basic investment portfolio, 60-40, 70-30, whatever you might have. We dive into a lot of different things. So one is, and a big concern for most clients, is income in retirement. So you probably have Social Security, you might have a pension, you might even have some rental income coming in, but really looking at and talking about what you need from an income perspective in retirement. That's one topic that we talk about in retirement. How do you know if you're going to have enough or you have enough? What are ways you can protect against running out of money in retirement? So that's a topic that we talk about in detail and a lot at our live events. Another topic we'll discuss in the live event is taxes. You know, we have a tax firm in-house. You know, how do taxes impact you as you prepare for retirement, but also once you do retire? How do you make sure you're not spending too much or paying too much in taxes? How do you make sure that you have the right buckets to pull money from in retirement? So taxes is something we'll talk about a lot during our live events. And this is something that can help you as you sit there and have your dinner and listen to us talk, can ideally share some ideas and thoughts maybe that will hit home for you, and maybe some things you haven't even thought about before. It's another reason, I think, for the live events to be there. Another is estate planning. So it's a term you hear a lot, you hear it thrown out there a lot, but we're going to talk in our live event about estate planning. How do you make sure your family's okay when something happens to you? That is of utmost concern to most people. So that's another topic that we'll touch on in our live event. So the number one reason I would say to attend a live event is, again, your current and future financial well-being is too important to miss this live event. The second, number 2, I would say, reason is whether you're a do-it-yourself investor or you have a financial advisor, this is your chance to come and hear a different perspective, an alternative approach to your retirement journey. So it's a way you can sit down in a quiet, easy environment, have dinner, get to know us, in more of a soft, I guess, approach to this, where you can hear how we approach your retirement journey. What are the things we talk about? What are the areas of concern for us? You know, we get to know you obviously through these events, but also then once we meet, if you choose to do that after the event, we get to know you well and your concerns and what's important to you. So it's, again, an opportunity for you to come in, hear a different approach versus what you already maybe are doing if you're doing it yourself or working with another advisor. So that's the second reason why to attend a live event, is to hear that alternative perspective or approach to it. And third, I'm gonna have some fun with this one. It's a free meal. It's a free meal for you. It's a free date night for you and your significant other. It's a way to just get out there. And like I said, you've seen our show for close to 15 years. This is an opportunity for you to come out for an evening, a couple hours of your time, to sit down, listen to what we do, who we are, get to know us personally, beyond just through your TV screen, but actually get to interact and meet us at a live event, hear more about who we are, ask questions if you have them, and ultimately just to go from there to see if this would be a potential opportunity for you to sit down with us and learn more about us in a one-on-one setting, and for us to learn more about you and get to know you, because that's ultimately our goal. So those are the 3 reasons why. So now you've heard them, now you know. I would really encourage you to not delay. Make this a priority. Your financial future is very important. And I encourage you strongly to go ahead and sign up for one of our live events so that you're able to sit down, hear more about us, learn more about our situation and what we offer you, so that we can help you plan to retire well.
What is your plan to not run out of money? Is your SAFE portfolio actually safe? Are you prepared for the fundamental transition to retirement? What are the benefits of tax loss harvesting? Do you have a local financial planning team? You have questions? We've got answers. We are Centennial Wealth Advisory, financial professionals, specializing in retirement planning and serving all of Northern Michigan, with offices in Traverse City, Gaylord, Petoskey, Cadillac, and Manistee. If you are retired or nearing retirement, we invite you to an informative live event to help you plan to retire well. There is no cost and no obligation, and dinner is on us. Call 888-608-5825 or register online and choose the date and location that works best for you. Tuesday, July 15th at Lakeside Charlie's in Cadillac. Tuesday, July 15th at the Stafford's Perry Hotel in Petoskey. Wednesday, July 16th at Treetops Hunter's Grill in Gaylord. Tuesday, July 22nd at the Blue Pelican in Central Lake. Or Thursday, July 24th at Bluefish Kitchen and Bar in Manistee. The live event starts at 6:30 p.m. and is free to attend, with a complimentary gourmet dinner to follow. But seating is limited and tends to fill quickly. Call 888-608-5825 or register online to reserve your seats today. Don't miss this important live event to help you plan to retire well. After more than a decade of stock market growth, volatility jolted investors back to the harsh reality of occasional market pullbacks in the investing cycle. Download our free white paper, Navigating Market Volatility. It's all about perspective, for an in-depth analysis of historic lessons and time-tested investment strategies. Simply go to sen-wealth.com, scroll down and click the link Navigating Market Volatility. It's all about perspective, to receive your free copy of this valuable and informative resource. Centennial Wealth Advisory is expanding, and we are excited to add a new office in Manistee to better serve our growing family of clients. Our new office is located in the historic Briney Building in the center of idyllic downtown Manistee. Whether you are an existing client or would like to meet for the first time for your free, no-obligation initial consultation, we look forward to welcoming you in our new office or at any of our Northern Michigan locations in Traverse City, Gaylord, Petoskey, Cadillac, or Manistee.
Who's your beneficiary? It might seem like a small little detail or a single line on a form you filled out 20, 30 years ago, but it is so important to make sure that you know who your beneficiaries are. That applies to IRA accounts, 401ks, Roth IRAs, all those different investment accounts. You want to make sure you have those beneficiary designations set up and in place. And the reason why is because those beneficiary designations tell your funds where they're going to go when you pass away. Okay, and there's 2 different types of beneficiary designations. There's a primary beneficiary and a contingent beneficiary. So the primary beneficiary is where you want your funds to go as the account owner when you pass, and that can be either a person or an entity. Typically, the primary beneficiary is going to be your spouse, but everybody's situation is a little bit different there. And then the contingent beneficiary is where you want your funds to go if both the account owner and the primary beneficiary pass at the same time. And that, again, can be a person or entity. Most of the time what I've seen is the spouse is the primary, and then the contingent are the kids or a trust or something like that. Now, reason I'm bringing this up is I've had a lot of cases recently of prospective clients who don't really pay too much attention to that beneficiary designation because they think that their will supersedes those beneficiary designations. And that's absolutely not true, okay? So if you have a will out there that's saying, hey, this money is gonna go to this kid and so forth, well, guess what? If you have a different child or a different person as the primary beneficiary or contingent beneficiary, the money is going to go where the beneficiary designation tells it to go, not where the will tells it to go. So there's a lot of confusion surrounding that. But another reason to kind of bring up this beneficiary designation is because I have found that a lot of people, they don't look at this very frequently. In fact, I had a recent couple come into the Petoskey office. They were a prospective client meeting, and a great couple, lots of fun. They had retired a few years back and were just getting a second opinion on where they were at. And they put their statements on my desk, and the husband was the breadwinner, so he had the career, the wife was the stay-at-home. So the husband had all the accounts, and he actually had two separate 401k accounts. He had an old 401k from about 25 years ago from one of his first jobs, and then he had his current 401k from his current employer that had the large balance there. And as we were moving along in our meeting, ironically, the statement for the old 401k was in front of his wife. And his wife was kind of thumbing through the pages in the statement. And she found that the primary beneficiary designation on that old 401k was actually this guy's ex-wife from some 20 years ago, and it had never been updated. So it got a little awkward pretty quick there, but thankfully they were great sports about it. And I know the first thing that he's going to do when he got out of that meeting is going to be to call to update that beneficiary, right? But that's something where, you know, if he wouldn't have done anything or even noticed that, you know, that money, now granted it was the smaller value, it was only a little over 10 grand, but that money wouldn't have went to his current wife if he had passed away. It would have went to his ex-spouse, okay? And I know, you know, that was 25 years ago for that couple, but it's something where if you have, you know, random accounts that are out there, those old 401ks and so forth, make sure you're double checking those beneficiary designations. You want to make sure that your money knows where to go when you go. If you have any questions on beneficiary designations or just retirement planning in general, don't forget, here at Centennial Wealth Advisory, we do it all, okay? We offer a holistic approach to retirement planning. It's not just investment planning. It's also income planning, tax planning, estate planning, and health insurance planning. Let us help you plan to retire well.